Joey and Heath. What's up?
What's up,
What's
brother?
happening?
Not much, man. What's so funny is that normally when I do podcast recordings, very rarely do I have two people on the other end, but like the past 6 weeks, it's been quite a few. So like the dynamic duo for you guys, it's going to be cool to have this conversation.
Listen, I'm just trying to be Robin, the Heat's Batman. That's it. That's all I'm trying to do, you know?
Yeah. And I'm for
Well,
those
what
that,
the listeners can't see is my bald head and his long head of hair. So
well, I was just gonna say that. So like we have it's interesting, right? For those of you guys who are watching us on YouTube, we got Joey here with like his long locks, like Fabio, right? But then Heath has got the Vin Diesel
oh
badass,
yeah,
That's right.
right?
I
So it's
like
yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
go
like
with that.
yeah, that's better than Telly Savalas, right?
Joey's also 6'5". I'm 5'10", so I'm sitting on a stool and he's on.
Sitting on the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Joey is 6'5". My God, did you play basketball growing up?
I did just through high school. I did. That's one of my things. I wish I would have at least played for like a game in college so I could have just casually said to people, yeah, I play a little college ball, just like give the casual, yeah, I play some hoops in college. But no, just retired it in high school to really focus on church league basketball and men's adult leagues. That's what I really did focus on.
Man, what's so funny is I've got a really funny basketball story for you. So I just went up to Canada last week, and two of my partners within Data Edge they live in London, Ontario, and we went up there and we did a powwow meeting, and then we were walking through the hotel that we were staying at, and there was like this small basketball court, and we were like, and it was like late at night. We're like, we just got back from dinner, and we're like, you know what? Let's go play some basketball.
It's perfect
And
time.
I actually recorded, it was really funny. I recorded 11 minutes of us playing basketball, where between three of us, we probably shot 150 shots.
Oh my
I think
gosh.
each one of us landed three. I'm not even kidding. Like, it was so funny, man. Like, there were so many shots that weren't even in the same like orbit as the hoop. Like one guy, Jason, who's been one of my partners for like 7 years, he was the worst, and he was like hitting the wall under the basket, and we were laughing, man. We're like, oh my God, we're so bad at this.
It's amazing. I bet you had a couple cocktails. I think you're forgiven. That's all right. It was 11 at night, right?
Dude, that's a sad thing. Like that would actually give us an excuse, but I'm on this 365 day of alcohol free. So
Wow.
maybe it would have helped. Like I had no alcohol in me. So I'm like, man, maybe I should do something to relax. I don't know.
Dude, 365 with no L. How's that been? And how deep
Good.
are you?
I'm 200, and so as we're recording, like 209 days.
Wow, good for
So
you.
no alcohol. I've done this once before too. I did it back in 2016, and I think I went like 300 and probably 90 days, I think, because I did
Wow.
one more month. I'm actually doing 433 though. So like we're doing it. I stood up on stage at our live event last year at the summit, which, by the way, guys, if you haven't bought your tickets for the summit yet, we only have about 30 left. On over to the dataedge.com/summit 2023 for your ticket.
Nice.
Humble plug. But no, I stood up on stage last year at our event, and I was like, hey guys, like I'm going to do 365 days of alcohol free. Who wants to join me? And kind of oddly enough, the number of men who want to join me is 21. And to date, we've only lost one guy.
Wow.
Who basically, I think he was about 100 days in. He's like, yeah, I'm out. I've got my 100 days and I'm out. I'm good. But the rest of us, man, we're still going strong. I'm doing 433 because we were doing it from October 23rd to October 23rd. But I'm like, man, if I'm going to go to October 23rd, why not just finish the year, which is 433 days? So
yeah, dude,
Very
that's
cool.
awesome. I love that.
But anyway, let's get to you guys. So RO, all this good stuff. I just want to level set, and we're just going to talk about you guys' family. So what do you guys' family look like?
I've been married 21 years. Celebrated in April. Yeah, how about that?
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. I've got 4 kids, so it's kind of an interesting year for me. So I've got twins, boy girl twins of our first, and they just finished their junior year. So we are literally on the countdown of 1 year from, sending them off into the world as adults. So a lot of reflection, a lot of writing, a lot of blog posts, a lot of thinking of how to maximize this time. which is, perfectly related to RO. So that's where we are with the oldest. The middle will be a sophomore high school, and then our youngest is 13, 7th grade. So we're on the tail end of parenting, which is kind of crazy. And I heard a term, I don't know, a couple weeks ago that I loved, which was, instead of empty nesters, open nesters. And really the idea is you create an environment where your kids want to come back and spend time with you. So that's kind of where my head's at right now.
4 kids. So let me ask you this. When you tell people you have 4, what's their response?
Probably depends on what part of the country I'm in, or if I'm overseas. We lived in London for a couple of years, and they looked at us like we had 7 heads with 4 kids. It just doesn't work in a big city like that. Gosh, our story is kind of interesting too. If we take maybe 30 seconds. So our first two, we had a little bit of an infertility journey for several years. So our first two came through, medical assistance, which we, worked hard to get. The third was the good old fashioned way, the cheap way, which was amazing, called a miracle. And then our fourth is actually adopted. So when we went through that first infertility journey, we thought, we're only going to be able to have kids through adoption, but but we didn't. And then we decided, hey, we still have the heart and the passion and the resources to bring a little girl into the world through adoption. So yeah, we've got kind of a mixed bag of kids.
God bless you, man. That's so cool. We had the same scenario. We had a lot of issues getting pregnant. My wife has endometriosis real bad, and
Same. Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. So it's really hard. And funny thing is that this probably only happened to me because I'm an idiot. So like I remember the day we were supposed to do the day we did the insemination, right, for the fertility, but we had gone through several other things before that. So I had to go in a week before, and the doc was like, "Hey, I need you to come in and do a drop off."
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, I need a backup. And I'm like, a backup for what? He's like, because the best aimers in the world on the day that it counts the most might miss. He's like, not to mention the fact that the pressure, that's put on you, like while we're getting everything ready, you need to go do your thing. He's like, things might not work out for you that day. And I'm like, I ain't gonna miss. It'll be fine. So I went in week 4, did my drop off. And dude, so prepping my wife the next week, I go in there. I have to go in my separate room, do my thing. And I like literally, and they even said, they're like, the first shot is the most important because it's got the highest concentration of sperm in it. So don't miss that. And what did I do? I completely it was like went through the freaking field goal. Like, and I'm like, oh my God. So then I literally I'm like, oh my God, all this money, all this time, everything we did, like in the prep and the hormones and everything else. I'm like, I just totally screwed up. And then I had to go in, and this nurse, she was so beautiful. Like the one that's the hottest, right? She comes in, and I'm like, yeah. So I missed. And she just like laughed at me, and I'm like, I'm like beat red, sweating. I just got done doing my thing. And I'm like, everything else went in except for the first shot. And she's like, that's why we have a backup. It's really funny. But that was my experience with.
There are lots of funny stories. We almost need to create a support group for men. There's plenty of support groups for women going through it, but the guys, it is such an awkward experience to be part of that. But
it is. I mean, if I had the choice between, being in my wife's shoes or mine, I'll take mine.
Amen, brother.
Definitely easier. Joey, how about you, man?
Man. My wife, Kristen, and I have been married for almost 19 years, and we have a son who will be 15 next week, and a daughter who is 13. So my wife, so funny enough, so I'm 6'5", as Heath mentioned. My wife claims to be 5 feet tall, but she's just a touch under 5 feet. So there is a huge discrepancy between us. And so when my son was born, he was a 9-pounder on her short, tiny frame. And it was a horrendous labor. She had, emergency C-section at the end of it. And so I just told her after the first, I was like, you're going to have to find a smaller father for the next babies, or this thing isn't going to work. So luckily she kept me for the second one. But then when my daughter was born, she said, I'm out. We're good. We're good at 2.
Wow. So we literally, if you think about it, guys, we literally have 10 kids between the 3 of us. We literally have a basketball team. We have the first string and second, if we ever went down that road.
Right. Exactly.
So
I'd say that's kind of a multiplying effect we have here.
it
That's
is.
a big responsibility.
It's quite a few people involved if you think about it. We've been married for 20 years this year,
Nice.
and yeah, man, it's awesome. I really really enjoy it. But the reason you guys are here is to to talk to us about screen time. And I would love for you guys to start out really with some statistics if you have those handy,
Yeah.
because my wife and I, and why you gather those and gather your thoughts. My wife and I were talking about this just this past weekend, that we are the first generation of parents that are raising kids in a digital world, both
Mhm.
us and them. So if you think about it, what I really think is going to happen over the next 20 years is all these really scary statistics are going to come out of what these screens have done to us. I mean, I know we already have some data and some data that's really scary, but just to level set with you guys, we have a training. I have a training called Full Focus Parenting, which is basically being fully focused and immersed in the moment and how to do that. Basically turning off the hamster wheel of your brain and be fully present in your boots. And during that training, because I also did it live in our group, was, cell phones are what alcohol was to us growing up as kids. So like our parents were usually, at least in my family, it was always alcohol that took my parents away,
Hmm.
and they kind of numbed and distracted, and now it's phones. But when I said that comment, there were quite a few guys on the call like, oh, like you tell like the air had kind of been sucked out of the room. But I'd love for you guys to just share some statistics if you got some.
Yeah. Well, actually, before I hit this, Heath has a great comparison, I think, of what this moment is for us in society and related to what you're talking about, how we grew up. I'd
Yeah,
love
you
you to
mentioned
start.
alcohol. We're starting to equate it to secondhand smoke. And if you remember,
Mm-hmm.
or I remember, there was a point where, we quantified that secondhand smoke actually hurt those around us.
Yeah.
Right. So it's one thing to hurt yourself. It's another thing to hurt those around you, especially those that are closest to you. And once we learned that, smoking habits change pretty dramatically and pretty quickly. And I would argue we're kind of in that same digital secondhand smoke moment, because we are raising a generation of kids who have parents that have looked into screens instead of looking into their eyes. And we know how much development happens at an early age. We know how much of your self-worth happens from connection and presence with adults. And you're right, some stats have started to come out. I mean, the Surgeon General said it's a public health crisis, and loneliness epidemic with teenagers in particular, depression and unhappiness. So we are starting to finally quickly see the ramifications of our addiction to these screens. So yeah, I think actually you're going to see a rapid change. And actually it's fun. I've got four teenagers, but two of my teenagers now have said, look, we're done with this. We're done with that. When their friends come over, they put their phones down. So they're already starting to make changes before their, brain is fully developed, because they crave connection too, right? We all crave connection. And right now, social media said it was going to provide us this new form of connection. That's been a failed experiment many times over. So yeah, we think we're on the precipice and the cusp of a radical sea change in terms of how we think about the use of these devices.
It's so true, man. Go ahead, Joey.
Well, the thing what it comes down to is it does come down to relationship. And so like Heath said, so our relationships are being affected by this. And so we are blowing that digital smoke at our young kids. And we hear stories all the time of the 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. And I think a lot of dads probably here listening have felt this, where their young kids will say, Dad, no phone, or hide their phone. We hear that a lot. So not only are kids, because they're born, like Heath said, with this natural need for connection. And then what do? We put this unnatural device in between their natural need for connection. And they don't only notice, but I think they're actually kind of pissed off about it. I think our kids, I'm noticing that more and more. We keep hearing that. We had a TikTok video blow up the other day, and we had hundreds and hundreds of comments, many of them saying, my daughter always tells me, no phone. My son hides my phone, and all that stuff is starting to happen because our kids are kind of pissed off because they want to be with us, and they have this such natural need for connection, and they value themselves enough. They're not yet conditioned to believe that they're less important than our phones, but the more we're scrolling, the less they believe in their own value. So, but it comes down to, and there's a lot of bad stuff on social media. There's a lot, yes, but we're not here to solve that. We're hoping someone solves that. What we're here to do is go to the core relationship we have with our devices that we've developed over the last 15 years so that we can then thrive in our other relationships. So what's our relationship with our phone right now? Our relationship, 91% of us have our phones with us 24 hours a day. We don't have to move our feet to reach our phones 24 hours a day. And our phones, and this is from a gentleman by the name of Dr. Maxi Heitmeyer at the London School of Economics. And there have been similar studies of this. He says when you have your phone, even if the screen's off, it equals usage of your phone because your phone is beckoning to you. It's calling out to you. And he says the only way for us to reduce our screen time is by getting it away from our bodies and out of sight. So, and he further goes on, this is really interesting. He says we're not dealing with an addiction here, which is really, really interesting because we refer to it as an addiction. Because what do, Larry? When there's an addiction, you do two things. One, you admit your powerlessness. And then two, you completely abstain from that thing. Well, we're not going to do that. One, the reason why we like to call it a habit, especially, is we have a heck of a lot of agency over this. This is a habit, and today we can all stop. We can change something. So most of us, there's maybe 1% of people who actually have a legitimate addiction. And two, it's not about abstinence from your phone. It's about finding those moments that you can carve out and using it for the good and the necessity of it. The other thing we found is other stats that go along with that is that our cell phone usage, you would think, oh, just silence your notifications. Well, that only accounts for about 11% of our use. Inbound distractions within your phone account for about 11% of your use. 89% of our phone usage is self-initiated. So we're the ones that are initiating that behavior. The other thing I'll say about it is, I think all of it's not just affecting our relationship with our kids, it's affecting our relationship with our spouses. So the Gottman Institute had a study recently, and it said that 86% of successful couples who remain married turn towards their partner's cues for connection. So those subtle cues that your partner is always sending out to you, they're very subtle, and bids. I like how they said that. 86% of successful couples do that, while only 33% of couples turn towards their partner's bids for emotional connection. And there's no way physically or emotionally that we can turn towards those little subtle cues. You know what I mean? Like when my wife says, like, oh gosh, we haven't had a date night in a while. Just that little thing, right? That's a tiny little thing, but she's actually asking me to initiate something. Or, hey, when was the last time we fill in the blank? That's a little subtle cue. And if we're here looking at our phone, there's no way that we can possibly respond to that or notice that. Not coincidentally, the term RO means to turn towards and to notice. And that's what we're trying to get people to do, is reshape that relationship we have with our phone so that we can then reshape those relationships we have all around us.
So wait a second. Did you say RO means to turn towards?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was wondering.
Cool?
Yeah. I mean, I've had what you got, I've had this device actually since you guys sent it to me, but I never understood what the name of why you named it that. So RO actually means to turn towards.
Yeah. To turn towards, to notice, to take heed. And that's the goal. That's what we're trying to get people to do, is turn towards those things that we say are most important to us. Because we all have the great intentions, and the thing that gets in the way of intention is distraction. We define, distraction as anything gets in the way of those great intentions. Everybody, I promise, who listens to the Dad Edge has great intentions in their lives, and it's really hard to do things sometimes. There's a lot of friction in front of really valuable things. There's more friction in front of things that are more valuable, right? Yeah. And so it's just an acknowledgement here with our phones that, we should put them down. And if you have a basket and you can do it on your own, that's fine. But if you need a little help, then you should look into tools that will remove the greatest distractions you have for your good intentions for your life.
I had no idea that that's what it meant, but that makes a lot of sense. So let's explain. First, I want to explain what the what is. And then I think you guys have really explained the why to some degree, but I want you to go deeper on the why of why you actually designed this and decided to manufacture this, because both of you guys actually came from very successful backgrounds in your professional lives, and then you decided to do this, which I think is really meaningful. So the what, right? So this device, the RO device, is actually it's a charger, but it's also like a storage box. And by the way, great job. Hang on. I actually went to the liberty of actually unplugging it just for this show.
Nice.
Just so the people on YouTube could see it. But like, you guys actually really did a really fantastic job with the design of this, because you know, the top is like this really nice light wood, and then it's like this white sort of, but it literally looks like a decorative piece,
Yeah.
which I think is really cool. It doesn't look like if so normally where it's at is we have like a wraparound like countertop that like leads into our kitchen, and it's right there. So you can't help but pass it constantly when you're on your way to the bathroom, in and out of the bedrooms and that kind of thing. It's a spot that everybody passes. And when it's there, it totally looks like it should be there as a decorative piece, which I think is pretty cool. So that's like the what. And I know this also comes with an app, but I would love for you guys just to share and describe the app and the actual box, how it works, and how people can really get the most out of it.
Yeah. Well, you highlighted it. It had to be wife approved. So we actually worked with
Right.
designers to make
Right.
sure, because look, we all have a box, a shoe box or something we can
Yeah.
throw on our counter, but my wife wouldn't allow that in the kitchen or the family room. So we did start from a place of aesthetics and said it has to be beautiful, the device itself. Let me give you a little bit of the background on how this started. So, and that'll help answer the what. My story is I was an entrepreneur, had a different business in the financial tech industry. And as part of that, I just failed over and over again being present with my family. So this is really a story of my failures along the way. And what happened was my kids, got a little older, elementary, middle school, and I looked at them and I thought, oh no, infinity in their pocket is on its way. And wow, look how bad dad is, right? And of course, my wife along the way was saying, Heath, look, you're here physically, but you're never here emotionally. Or so one day I woke up and said, I got to solve this. So I looked for solutions. Apple screen time came out around that time. So it would tell you how much you've been on your phone, but that doesn't really do anything except, induce shame and guilt. Then there were some apps that were created. There's dumb phones where you can get rid of your, smartphone and try to go back to a flip phone. I tried all those. None of them worked. Then I read James Clear's Atomic Habits and thought, there's a science to this, right? And what is everyone lacking? Well, the visual cue. We don't have a place for our phone. So instead we put it in our pocket, or we throw it on the counter, or we put it beside our bed. So then I stumbled upon, I said, well, let's go try this. And I actually got a shoe box, or actually a shampoo box, which I don't have any hair, but thanks. My wife has hair. So I used her shampoo box. And I just wanted to see, hey, will we put our phones instinctively into something and charge them? And that worked. But I realized I wasn't tracking my off time. And I really wanted to know, hey, what was I doing with my intentional time? So then that elevated to a kind of a beautiful wooden box. We built a little throwaway app, and we said, all right, the combination of technology and a place is really the secret sauce here. We did a few alpha tests and beta tests with a bunch of families, and we learned two things. One is having something in your house that you see is the cue to starting this good habit. Much like if you have a Peloton and you put it in your basement, you're probably not going to ride it as much as if it's within, your line of sight on the main floor. Second is we said, all right, tell us how you feel after you put your phone down. Everyone said the same thing. I'm so proud of myself, right? And we knew at that point, hey, pride is an incredible motivator. So if we can tap into pride, we've got something here. Then we said, all right, to your point, like once we build a commercial product, it has to be beautiful. It's going to live in a high traffic area. It has to stand out, but it also has to fade away, which is built into the design. But the box itself doesn't solve anything. It's really the combination of the app, which is the gamification of the whole experience, to say, hey, let's encourage you, nudge you, motivate you, let you compete with your family even, to spend more time off your device so that we can address that core relationship that Joey was talking about. Yeah. And really the goal is to make it easy, or easier, I should say, to put down your phone, because it is hard, right? These things are captivating. Look, we say it all the time. I'm not giving up my phone anytime soon. It does a lot of great things, but I guarantee you, I don't need it at the dinner table. I guarantee you, I will not be able to focus and journal and read if I've got my phone with me. I guarantee you, if I'm out on a date with my wife, or we're sitting, trying to have a conversation and my phone's with me, that's not going to be a good conversation. So it's determining those sacred times in your family and deciding, using the system, the RO, to make those easier. But it's just that it's a combination of a device that lives in your home and a gamified app. And the combination of those two is the power.
So yeah, what I've noticed is, since you guys, so I've had this for, I think, 2 months now. And this is, I love having this in my house. So none of my family has used this yet, except for me. because what I wanted to do was I kind of just did this as an experiment for me, and then to see what their response would be if I really didn't say much about it and I just started doing it. So a couple of things have happened. At first, I was a bit resistant to it. Right.
Yeah.
Of all people, but I was just like, what is this going to be like? Like, I think I can kind of get the same effect if I just have my notifications off, or, maybe if I have it set down on the counter. And what I noticed is all those things were very untrue. 100%. And I'll explain why. So the gamification thing was super awesome for me. So like, just so the audience really understands. So you have this box, you have the app, and the app actually measures your time away from your phone. So like out of your hand, out of your pocket, off the counter, and in this box where you basically, it's out of sight, out of mind, like literally. And the gamification is like, how many minutes, hours can I rack up by the end of the week? And the cool thing too is like, it was another dopamine hit. Like I was doing it for a while there where it's like, okay, 5 to 9. And when I would pick that thing up and I would see you logged 3 hours and 48 minutes away from your phone tonight, I'm like, yeah, like it was such a dopamine hit. Like,
Absolutely.
hell yeah. Like, how much more can I do tomorrow? I'm going to do it again tomorrow. I do it tomorrow. But the cool thing was this, here's what really emerged for me was it was really cool to see how much time. I think one week in particular, I had 21 hours away from my phone. And I was like, hell yeah. Right. But the cool thing was this, is that I really started to learn my cues and probably how distracted I was with my phone more than I thought. So like, for instance, when this thing was in the box, it was out of sight, out of mind. And I would notice like mental and emotional cues where I'd be like, where's my phone? Oh, it's in the RO box. And then it was like, oh, and then I would kind of, believe it or not, I would breathe like this sigh of relief. Like there was less anxiety in my life. There was less stress in my life. There was less of a pull or a distraction to take it away, right? To take away my attention is what I mean. And what I noticed is I was a lot less stressed in the evenings. I was a lot less like not frantic's the wrong word, but I would say if I'd get a bad text from somebody in the evening time, or I would be like, oh, well, this just happened or that just happened, I'm like, my energy would go down. But if it was out of sight, out of mind, I wouldn't know. But here's the other thing too. I always thought, well, if it's in my pocket and I don't pull it out, that's okay. But the other thing I noticed too is that when I would have conversations with my kids or with my wife or whatever, if I felt it buzz in my pocket, it would take my attention. And I'd be like, who is that? What is that? What could that be? Is it something that needs my attention? Is it urgent? Who could it be? Maybe it's this. Oh, wait a second. Now I have to do that. Like all of a sudden my attention was somewhere else, even though it was in my pocket and I didn't even check it. The other thing too, is if it was on the counter away from me, and even if I didn't hear it, but I saw it light up, I'd be like, I wonder what that's all about. Yeah. So when it's in the box though, it puts it into like, it felt like it was in a bit of a different dimension, like to where even though all I have to do is like lift this lid and unplug it, but it was almost like, no, it's over there. And I don't have access to it until 9 p.m. tonight. And I found myself just feeling freaking really good. Like my stress level, man, was so low. And like anxiety was lower, and my presence, and of course, here's the other cool thing. I purposely didn't say much about this to my family, and they would see me put in there like, what are you doing? What is that thing? And I'm like, this is the RO box. I was like, these really cool guys who developed it, sent it out, and I'm really just testing it to see if, how much I really like this thing. And so I haven't really gotten them involved yet, but here's what I really want to do. And here's what I want you guys to talk about, because I would like to learn this selfishly myself. I want to get the whole family involved with this. Be like, hey, if we at a combined family unit log 50 hours of RO time, let's go do this thing, or let's go do like gamify it to the point where we're rewarding this behavior, right? It's not a punishment. It's actually a reward. We're all fighting for it. We're all marching in the same direction. But I'd love for you guys to give us some advice on how we can get the family freaking excited about this. Yeah.
Tell me again, Larry, how old your kids are?
I don't know. There's too many of them. I have 17, 15, 9, and 7. So the two older ones have phones, but the two younger ones do not.
Well, we very early on to this, we thought that RO was going to be for families that look like our respective families. So teenagers, and they have phones. What we found, like I somewhat alluded to it earlier, in the same way that the young kids are pissed off that their parents are on their phones, the the younger kids without phones love RO the most. Of anybody, if you said who does this benefit most? Who does RO love most? Well, it's people who don't have phones yet. Because what happens? You put your phone down, and a kid that doesn't have a phone, all of a sudden your relationship is completely eye to eye. There's nothing different between the two of you. And so when they don't have phones and you do have phone, there's a distance between them. Oh, hold on, buddy. I'm checking. Hold on, buddy. It's a really important email. But he doesn't care if it's an email or if it's a group text. He doesn't care at all. He just wants your attention, right? So we initially thought it would be for that group of people. The other thing I'll say is we also, at first, we were talking to kind of everybody, and then we said, hold on, we built this for families. This is for families, because this is the most hopeful, greatest opportunity that we have as parents. Any dad has right now. This is the best opportunity they have to give their kids their full presence, because it builds that value in them. And when the earlier you start, the better. So my guess is that your 9-year-old and your 7-year-old really like it already, because they get more of you. Your 17 and 15-year-old may be a little bit more challenging, but I think, to Heath's point, they'll start adopting them more too. So I say all of that to say, we started designing the app interface more for families. So you have a family goal that every Monday, I just got mine. You have a family goal that says, hey, here's the Odom family, my family. Your goal for the week was such and such hours, 50 hours. And you guys hit, 52 of those, but everybody gets that same one. And even within the interface, there's a leaderboard. So I can see if I want to compete against my kids. Both of them have phones. I can do that. But then we're also working towards a goal together. So that app interface supports exactly what you said. And then I would say, for people getting the family on board, because if dads are like me, I come up with a lot of ideas for the family. And it's almost like my family has to wait to see, okay, what's going to stick here. So I love the way that you've done it.
Yeah.
And that's how actually we recommend to people, don't impose it on your family yet. You do it. Lead by example, show them the way, and then start inviting them in. Hey, why don't you guys join my family group, for example? And then you set up that group where everybody can have that, and you can start competing together. And then another cool thing is, when you drop your phone in RO, everybody else who has the app will get a notification. Dad just dropped his phone in RO. Dad just started an RO session. So that's a quiet invitation to everybody else to join you. And it's very subtle. It's very quiet. Because RO is an invitation. It's an invitation to presence. It's an invitation to your best intentions. It's an invitation to family time. It's an invitation to fun, to competition, if you use it that way. So the app interface, even since you started with it, Larry, a couple months ago, it's really evolved to where we're involving the entire family. Heath mentioned we get very few returns, but a couple that we've gotten, what we've noticed is it's people who are using it alone. People who are using it together with others in their household. That's when it gets really, really sticky. And that kind of is a multiplier to the experience.
Yeah. I could totally see that, because, what's really fascinating is how many times I've probably have told my kids put their phone away, while mine is like, maybe I'm not looking at it, but it's like in my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you look like an idiot, right? Like, okay,
Totally.
like you just look like the biggest. It's like, hey, you shouldn't be smoking cigarettes. It's really, really bad for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you shouldn't drink beer either. So yeah. I really like that gamification, and I love the fact that so I'm just going to be very honest with you guys.
Yeah.
And the guys will hear, I think the guys will hear a mid-roll in this podcast, me talking about me incorporating the family, because we're recording this session about a month before it comes out, or this podcast about a month before it comes out. But I'd really like for you guys to share with me is, so I guess from an app standpoint, and I'll know this after this releases, but can I actually see every family member and what they've logged? Can we all see each other's?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. What have you guys found to be, because I think I could like really have some fun and get like super creative with like, all right, Ethan, if you log 10 hours by Friday, bro, like we're going to go do blah, 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 blah. Right. But, I would really love to just pick your brain, because you guys are the creators of this and you've got customers now. Have you found any just really creative, or just simply outside the box, or when you were designing this tech, you maybe didn't expect, like, holy crap, this person over here, they're using it for this, this, and this. Like, how cool is that? So do you have any stories about that?
Yeah, we've got folks using it to, determine allowance for the week, which is
No
pretty
way.
heavy-handed, right?
Yeah. we
Oh,
never thought we would have
No.
never thought of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, dude. Oh, can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, literally, like they have a set number of hours, and depending on how many hours they achieve, their allowance, is based on that. So yeah, put your phone down to get your allowance, I think is a great way, especially for younger kids. What an easy way to make money, right?
Yeah.
I tell you, we've had a bunch
Yeah.
of interesting use cases. So I mean, we have built it for families, but we've seen fascinating purchases where we got one gym owner here in town that bought it for one of the core principles of their gym is eyes up. So he put it behind the counter and he said, look, we're going to gamify the whole experience of people that are behind the counter, making sure they're looking at our customers, right? So whoever has the most RO hours in a given time frame gets a t-shirt, gets a $50 gift certificate. So
No
again,
way.
kind of tying some actual rewards to behavior that they're trying to incentivize. We got yoga studios trying this, coffee shops trying this. Again, we built it for a family, and now we're starting to see how others want to incorporate it. So we'll think about how we design for that going forward. But I'll tell you the great thing. So my family is a good example. I don't have to incentivize anymore.
Yeah.
It's become natural. So, and again, I've got 3 kids over 15, which you would think that's the hardest, that's hard to break them of a habit. But when they're not using their phone, it's typically in the RO. And I don't have any incentives built around it other than this is just kind of how we live. And their digital muscles have gotten strong over the past couple of years. So their relationship has changed, and even more fun when they have friends over. A lot of times, many of their friends are putting their phones there as well.
Yeah, I would say to Heath's point, the earlier the better. It's the same with my kids. My kids didn't have a phone without RO, and so for them, their muscle is built. It's very normal for them. My kids have not spent a night since they've had phones. It's not hyperbole. Since they have had phones, sleeping in our home, they've not had a night where they've slept next to their phone ever. My son's 15, so he's had a phone for several years. So their phone has never been with them. And that's we prescribe very little, Larry. One thing that we do prescribe is kids should not have a phone in their room at night. Just it would be, I can't imagine when when I was a 14-year-old boy, what I would have done with the unlimited internet in my room. I mean, that would have been a horrendous scene for me. One of the other things, this is maybe my favorite use case that we've heard from somebody, is they have a task list at night for their kids. And it says, and there's just this member in California who reached out to us and told us this, and it's brush your teeth, wash your face. And then this one, these kids don't have phones. One of them is take mom and dad's phone and put it in the RO box. So here's what that does: multiple things. One of them, it creates an immediate accountability for the parent, because what are you going to do? You're going to bristle when your kid asks you to be present with them. So it immediately puts you, and then if you know, like, oh, don't do that, then you know that you're in the wrong. So your defensiveness immediately signals that you're incorrect. The second thing it does is it builds a muscle memory for the kid. So the kid, by the time they get a phone, it's very normal for them to spend time away from your phone. And then the third thing does, and this is the most important thing, is it tells the kid this very important message. And that message is this: theoretically, 8 billion people can reach me on my phone. When my phone is away, you're more important than every single one of them. What better message could we give our kids than you're more important than every single other person on earth right now when my phone's away? And that's a message we send. Now we send the inverse message a lot. And that inverse message is, you're a distraction to me right now. And our kids do pick up on that. I'm telling you, they do notice. They grow accustomed to it. I said it earlier, but you need to be really concerned as a dad the day your kids stop asking you to put your phone down. Because that means you've conditioned them to believe that they're not as important as it. 2, that they don't value themselves as much. And 3, they don't want to spend time with you. So we go on mom podcast and we're a little bit more white glove with dads, but I think we need to hit them between the eyes. We got to put our freaking phones down. We're sending a message to our kids that we don't want. And we have an amazing opportunity. This is not condemning. We have an amazing opportunity to send a much stronger message, which is, you're valuable. You're important. Heath referenced teenage unhappiness. There's a study that came out that said teenage unhappiness is at an all-time high right now. And it all ties back to when smartphones became ubiquitous and we all had phones. And so we have a generation of kids, and yes, they're going on, it's body comparison to, on Instagram and all that stuff, and it's bad. But the reason is because they don't have a foundational sense of value, because they've been raised by parents who haven't looked in their eyes, who've been looking at screens. And so they don't believe that they're valuable. And of course they're unhappy because of that, because they haven't had that natural connection that every child needs, that every child really had up until about 15 years ago. And I'm not saying it's the good old days and all parents were perfect, because they weren't. We all know that. But this is the greatest distraction that we have. And it's also the most amazing opportunity. This is the message. It's the most amazing opportunity we have as parents right now. We get this one right, we get everything right. There's a member by the name of Sam in California who emailed a few weeks ago, and he said he went downstairs. His 8-year-old son was having breakfast, and this morning he put his phone in the RO box, and he said the next 17-minute conversation with his 8-year-old son changed his life. And
How
it's
so?
because they talked about sharks and they talked about how things get invented. And that was it. But the light bulb went off for him. And his son's name's Julian. He goes, holy crap. What if I spent only 17 minutes of focus time, phone-free time with Julian every single day for the rest of his life? What would that do in his life? So it's not these big magical moments, those little mundane moments. It's the stuff we're missing out on that we don't notice right now, because we can't notice them, because we can't turn towards those important things happening in front of us, because our eyes and our attention, our focus and everything is turned towards something else.
You know, what's interesting too is that my own dad, who is 75 years old, there have been times where we've been out to dinner and he'll get on his phone and I'm like,
Dude.
I just feel like shit. Thanks.
Thanks,
You know, it's like, you know,
wow, that's amazing.
It's kind of like, but he's wired like that. He's very like shiny object type thing, and brilliant entrepreneur. He's a good man, but like he gets, you know, he needs stimulus. So
boomers, by the way, what you just said is very consistent. Heath and my kids, their age, they're the ones who are most open to putting their phones down, and boomers are the least open to it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
I actually have I have a story for you. One is very self-deprecating, and embarrassing. But if the audience knows me, they know that I'm very open, very authentic when it comes to my own, you know, face plants. So yeah, every Tuesday I take my little guys, my 9-year-old and 7-year-old, to soccer practice. And trust me when I say I know better. Okay. Like I know better than what I'm about to tell you. And it's like, it didn't come as a surprise to me. So while they're in soccer practice, I have like so they both do practice at the same time, 2 different teams, but I have like one that's way over here and one that's right in front of me. And I switch back and forth for the hour, you know, to make sure I watch equal time. And I'll, you know, if they're like off doing something, like I'll glance over at my phone, kind of get into it for a minute, and I'll lose time like I always do. And then my 7-year-old, who I didn't even really think was, you know, really observant enough, he's like, hey, you know, I tried to get your attention a couple times because on the soccer field, I was like, what was I doing? He goes, you're on your phone. And I was like, so from then on out, I was like, okay, like I know better than this. Like I run this podcast. Like I don't need this phone during their soccer practices. So I've been leaving it in my car now for actually quite some time. And I'll tell you, because I leave it in my car, it's kind of like an RO, right? It's not in my pocket. It's not sitting beside me. It's in the car. It's like, I don't even have a choice. I have to be present in the moment watching their practices. But here's what I'll tell you. My peripheral vision and watching all these other parents, every single one of them are like all dialed into their phone, like all of them. And like, there was one lady who was like sitting kind of in front of me, and I actually counted how many times she picked the thing up. Wow. Like she would go through it, like do some Instagram, some Facebook, do some text. She put it down, put it in her purse, and then get it. Just take a guess in 50 minutes, 50, how many times did I count her picking up her phone?
127.
Oh,
not quite that high.
I was gonna go 1 a minute. I was gonna go 50.
It was 47 times.
Wow.
40. I didn't even think that was possible. But I mean, I also did count like when she would like put it on her lap face down and like watch for a second, and then it'd still be in her hand and pick it up. But there were times, man, she would actually put it back in her purse. 30 seconds would go by and she'd pull it back out of her purse. So, but here's the most disturbing story, I think. I was sitting next to a lady who was about my age, and her son was playing on my son's team. And so I was sitting next to her, and this kid, it's indoor soccer. So there's like this glass, you know, but it's really thick. And this kid was like knocking on the glass, like, mom, like wanting so badly to get his mom's attention. I didn't say anything. And since I was sitting next to her, he would look to me, he'd look at me, and he just had this such defeated look on his face, and he's like, and then like put his head down and walk sideways. So by the third time he's knocking, I nudge this lady and I'm like, excuse me. I was like, your son is trying to get your attention. And she puts her phone down. I kid you not. And she's like, what? And like irritated. And he's like, hi, and waves. And he's 7, like plays on my 7U team. Hi. And like, and she's like, ugh, weirdo. And says the word weirdo. Wow. And I'm like looking at this lady. I'm like, are you freaking kidding?
You're the like, freaking weirdo. Yeah.
Yeah. She gets right back on her phone. And then so like at this point, I was just like kind of pissed off about it. And quite frankly, I'm also pissed. I'm pissed that she's doing this, but I'm also pissed, you know, like how many times have I been her? Like, come right. And I never call my kids a weirdo.
Yeah.
Like how many times have my kids probably looked up at me and seen that? Right. So I'm like, shit. So it pissed me off, like not only for her and her kid, but also like, how many times have I done this? That's not cool. Right. So she, so the kid, man, it's like 4 or 5 times he's like knocking on the thing, trying to get her attention. I just ignored it. But by the 4th time, I like nudge her and I'm like, excuse me. And she looks at me, she's like, what? And I'm like, and I just look at her and I'm like, I was like, your son wants your attention again. And she looks at him like, what? And I'm like, oh my God, lady, like, what are you like? Seriously, can you imagine like what this kid is thinking? Oh, yeah. She just was so, and I look over, I'm like, okay, what's so important? Guess what she was on?
Instagram.
Yeah. She's on Instagram, and she wasn't even like reading something. She's just scrolling the next thing. And I'm like, holy shit. Like I can see if you were like reading an article on how to solve world hunger or something, but like she's just on Instagram. It was kind of wild.
I mean, that sucks. But that's a whole generation of kids. And by the way, this whole thing began, you know, we don't say anything here out of self-righteousness. We say it all out of failure. That's why we're doing this to begin with. Because I missed my son's, funny enough, you tell a soccer story. I missed my son's first soccer goal because I was looking at my phone. Larry, he looks over at me just to make sure I saw it. And I missed all of them. My wife told me, she's like, Harrison just scored. He just looked at you and you didn't see any of it because you're looking at your phone. And it's crushing. But it's a whole generation of kids. And that's why we talk about the opportunity we have. But we have to we can't take it lightly. It seems the reason why I think that this continues to pervade is that we're not taking it serious enough because it sounds so damn easy. Yeah. It sounds like, well, yeah, just put your phone away. I can just put it in a drawer. Do you, idiot? Yeah, you don't, right? Yeah. I'm saying idiot to myself. No, me too. You don't. Yeah. And it's in the same way. You may or may not know this. A lot of listeners may not know this. Did you know you can burn calories for free? Did you know you can run and it'll burn calories and you don't have to pay a nickel?
Wait, what?
But we all belong to gyms, right? We pay money but to remove the friction of doing something difficult. So because we take it seriously, because we know all the benefits of exercise, because we want to have, because we want to, build muscles, because we want to not have a big tire around our stomachs. We do all those because we take it seriously enough. We know the benefits of it. So anybody who's listening now knows, like, it's crushing our kids. It's crushing our marriages. It's crushing ourselves, and we need to do something about it and take whatever lengths it requires. If you can do it in a basket, finally take it seriously and do it. If you need a little help, we say it all the time. Like, if you follow Aro, if you use Aro every single day, if you follow the prompts of the app, because it's built around the science of habit formation, it will change your life. Absolutely. And I know that because it's happened in my life. And we all know what happens when you change your relationship with your phone, you change your relationship with everyone around you. So it will change your life, but we have to take it more seriously because we're just kind of kid gloving it right now. And it's too important. We have a whole generation of kids whose heads are down because their parents are saying, what, you weirdo? Whether we're saying it out loud or we're just communicating that by us having our eyes on our phones instead of their faces.
You know what's so cool about this too is that I think what you guys have done with this amazing invention that you've done here, and it's so simple. I love the simplicity of it, but you've made this more of a team approach with families versus a disciplinary approach.
Yes.
Like, hey, let's work to get so we have a group text. It's called Team Hagner. So we really always refer to ourselves as team, right?
Love
team
it.
is a big word that we use in this family. And I was purposely waiting until the recording of this podcast to start like that team approach to this, because to quite honestly, I really wanted to know, like, hey, how can I get my kids on board with this? And like, how can it feel like this is something they want to do versus like, oh gosh, dad is now, now he wants us to do this thing. Right. And that's really where I want to go. I really want to focus this last part of the podcast just on how we can really incentivize this. I know the way the app is set up, right? It's already set up to hit those dopamine receptors on the time that we're logging, why we're logging it, and then gives you a weekly report of how much RO time you have and that kind of thing. And I also love the fact that if you have your family involved, it pings them to let them know, hey, dad just put his phone in the RO, because it's like you're leading by example. But I love how this product takes the discipline out of it. It doesn't come necessarily from a scarcity standpoint, like, hey, you need to be better about your phone. You need to put your phone down, versus like, hey, like, how many hours can we log this week? And if we do, like, this is what we get to do. But I would love to spend just this last segment of maybe some stories that you guys have heard where a mom or a dad is leading the pack, right? They're trying to get their kids involved, and maybe some really best demonstrated practices or stories to have, I would say, that initial conversation, not necessarily once they're on board, but like that initial conversation.
Let me tell you a little bit about how it works in our family. And I think you mentioned this earlier, but if you tell someone in your family to put their phone down, what's their natural reaction? They're defensive, right?
Weirdo.
Yes. But if you ask them, hey, let's go do this together. So in our, we say, hey, let's go RO together. So instead of me saying, hey, Reese, my daughter, put your phone down, I'm like, let's go RO together, right? So it becomes a joint thing. So I'm doing it with them. That's just so different than me adulting and parental controlling my way to behavior. So again, the beauty of this from the team standpoint is that it level sets the entire family. This isn't just dad saying, hey, spend less time on your phone while I get to go adult and check email and group text. The drinking and smoking example used earlier, it does pull everyone together. So that's my family. What we've seen and heard, and Joey recommends this quite a bit, is have your kids put your phone up for you and actually make a big deal of it. So when you want to be present, particularly for like family dinner is a good example, say, hey, I'm going to be present. I'm putting my phone up. Like literally make a big deal. Or if your daughter wants to come talk to you about something, hey, dad, I want to have a conversation. Okay, wait, first, let me be present. I'm going to put my phone away, because you're sending the signal to them at that moment that, hey, you're more important. So again, you've been doing a great job already leading by example without kind of forcing it upon them. Funny enough, it took our wives a couple years. Yeah. This is our full-time job. Like we quit our jobs, right, to do this. It took our wives a couple years because they had to see that it stuck, A, and then B, they had to experience it on their own time. And I'll never forget my wife, first time she used RO, she called me, she goes, I get it. I finally get it. I said, well, what do you get? She said, well, this morning I did a devotional, and for the first time I realized that this is my time. This is not anyone else's time. She goes, normally I would do a devotional and I'd read something and I'd want to text someone and say, I've thought about you and I'm whatever praying for you. I think this is relevant in your life. She goes, and I finally realized, like, no, this gave me permission to have my time for 37 minutes. And it changed her entire experience. So I think leading by example, letting them experience it on their own time, and realizing this is a joint effort and not the next regulation or filter or screen time rules, makes it so much easier to get everyone involved.
I also like people. This is what one of our members, a guy named Justin in Virginia, he said he's been focused less on aggregate time and more just carving out a space. Hey, he goes, we carve out for him. He uses it all through. He's a 5 to 9 guy like you, but he says, I like to carve out just family dinner. Or this is another interesting thing. We think of screens, we don't vilify technology or screens. These are good things, just in their correct place. He says, we love watching TV without a second screen. When was the last time anybody did that? Watching TV as a family without a second screen, because there is a different experience, and 4 people are sitting on a couch having their own separate experiences. There's no community there, versus everybody watching one thing without, watching the one thing, and they're making the jokes. My son and I, we watch all the dumb movies I watched growing up now. So we always have our like running jokes and repeating lines. We have one common experience without phones. And so those are the small things. Don't make it restrictive. Just say, hey, let's watch Tommy Boy tonight. Oh, and hey, do you mind if we put our phones down? You know what I mean? And just start doing Fat Guy in a Little Coat together, and just all of a sudden
you're reading my mind, man.
Exactly. So that's it. Carve out the little spaces at first and understand this is all about building a muscle, and we all build muscle differently.
Yeah.
So how are you going to build your muscle? And begin small. Every time you just begin small, carve out a little space for it. And then like Heath said, if you can, I like to, and most guys like pats on their own back. So I pat myself on the back more than anybody pats me on the back. But I will say, if my daughter, hey, can we talk? Be like, yeah, but is it, I'll make a joke, like a dad joke. Hey, but is it okay if I'm fully present with you? Would you be okay with that, honey? Before we watch this movie, do you mind if I'm all in? Is that fine with you? So I just, and make it a big deal, and they'll roll their eyes and they'll think it's hilarious. But I'm just telling you, sons for sure, but daughters especially, they will bloom whenever you're fully there with them. Yeah. They will, and I don't care how young they are, I don't care how old they are, they will bloom. By the way, it's the same with your spouse. Your spouse will bloom when you're fully present with her. That's what they are waiting for us to initiate. The sad thing right now, Larry, is that, and this isn't sad, I like that they're doing that, moms are leading the way. We think it's time for dad. We think it's time for dad to start leading the way. And and by the way, you're going to get lucky too. That's the awesome thing too, guys. You tell me if you're not focused with your wife over a dinner, you ask her to have a glass of wine on the back porch without your phone, you don't think you're getting lucky that night? You're going to, I promise you. This absolutely leads to more intimacy. And I think most guys want that. They just don't know the exact path forward. And all it is just noticing, it's turning towards doing those things that your wife wants. And if you can do those things, it is going to change those relationships.
I talked about that aha moment when we did the alpha test a few years ago with the pride. I was out to dinner one night with my wife. This was 4 years ago. And literally the light bulb went off. If my phone is sitting up like on the table, I might as well not be there because I'm seeing things, whatever. If I put my phone down, face down, I'm still anticipating, right? Joey talked about the science there. But that night, all I said to her was, hey, can you hold my phone? Buddy, she sat up, a smile on her face. It was a totally different experience throughout the night. So it's
yeah, exactly.
But that's it. Like they want the connection there. And particularly, a lot of women are wired for quality time, right? You're not getting any quality time if you've got your phone with you. So yeah, if you want to change the intimacy in your marriage, put down your phone. Put down your phone often. Put down your phone when you're on the couch with your wife. Put down the phone when you're out to dinner with your wife. Put down your phone and it will change that level of intimacy.
100%. I think the audience has probably like heard me say it a million times. Seen, heard, and safe. Those are the 3 needs of your wife. Seen, heard, and safe. If your phone's in your hand, you might as well just cross the first 2 right off your list, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
But what's interesting is that I remember when and I remember seeing the commercials for like Cigarette. You guys remember Cigarette?
I don't think so.
Oh, it was like this cassette tape thing that you could buy. And like, I don't want to say it would hypnotize you, but I guess.
I do remember this.
You remember that? And then like, it would, so anyway, you listen to this tape and then they had like a money back guarantee, of like why you shouldn't be smoking. And then people would like give up smoking and they had all these testimonials on it. It's like one guy was like, if I would have given up cigarettes 30 years ago, I'd have 2 houses that I live in right now, but all these really cool benefits of things that's my best Peter Griffin voice, by the way.
That's pretty good.
But, all these really cool benefits of things that they didn't realize they could have had, or the things that they're experiencing. And one guy was just like, I didn't realize like how short of breath I actually was, or like how I actually lost weight because I was able to exercise. So I was able to breathe better. Like, so all these benefits that happened after they gave up the habit. And one thing I can tell you is when I'm doing RO myself, or when phone is out of sight, out of mind, it's amazing how my senses will pick up on certain things that normally isn't there. So like, for instance, I was doing RO time, obviously on Mother's Day, and my wife, it was a beautiful day, like 70 something degrees. My wife was, we were out on our deck where we kind of have like this couch type thing. And she was sitting, she was laying her head on my lap and she was on her back. And I was just like looking down at her and she had her eyes closed and like the wind was blowing and I was just like running my fingers through her hair. And I could also hear the boys who were playing wiffle ball, like just like 50 feet away from us. And then I could hear, we also have like this subdivision pond, like fountain that's in the background. And every single one of my senses were so in tune with like, I was like looking at her face as her eyes were closed. And I was like, man, she's so beautiful. And I could hear everything. I could hear the kids laughing. And I was sitting there thinking like, my phone was not in my hand. And it was almost like your senses go on steroids because you're not mentally or emotionally or physically pulled in a direction of distraction, you're like, you have no choice but to be 100% there. So just some really cool things that I've noticed as well too. I mean, we've been doing, we've been doing, and I don't even know if this is possible now that I'm saying it out loud, but I've been doing the RO time in the evening, and lately one of our most favorite family pastimes, everybody in the family gets involved, all 4 kids, my wife every now and again too. We've been playing wiffle ball like every night.
Heck yeah.
And I'm sitting here wondering, like, would my kids maybe be inclined to ask me to go out there and play wiffle ball with them if they saw me sitting on the couch on my phone? Chances are probably not, but they see me, I'm available, and they see that I don't have anything in my hand pulling me away. So like, Dad, come down and play wiffle ball with us. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
But just kind of some cool things.
I love that.
You know, I've been doing this for 4 years, right? We've been working on this. And even last week, my boys were out playing spike ball in the backyard. And I was on my iPad playing, not playing, on my iPad working. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go out there and play spike ball with them. And they loved it. And it's funny, every time I'd seen them playing before, I thought, oh, good for them. They're connecting, having a great time playing. It's like, never even occurred to me, hey, you might want to go join your kids. So we went out 20 minutes. They beat the snot out of me. I realized and I feel like I'm a pretty good athlete, but boy, I was humiliated. And they loved, just talking trash and banter and quote unquote coaching me. But what's fascinating about that is because I spent the time, I was available and I was connected. That then led to, hey, Dad, you want to sit in the hot tub for 20 minutes? Yeah, I'd love to. And then the coolest part of this story is later that we just moved into a new house a couple months ago, or about a month ago. Later that night, my 17-year-old walks into the bedroom and says, hey, I just had such a good time tonight. He goes, is this your bedroom? I've never been in here. After a month, right? And he felt like he felt comfortable. He felt seen. He felt heard. And it was just such a good reminder that, man, that quality time, that trash time, that any time that you can get with your kids is so valuable on so many levels.
What's so cool? We can all freaking do it today. Every single person can do this today. It's just, again, back to sorry to be a broken record. What an opportunity we have. We don't have to do anything. You don't have to make a lot of money for that. You don't have to have a great job. Just put your damn phone down and be there, right? I mean, what a cool opportunity every single one of us have right now to do that for our spouses, for our kids, even for ourselves. Just have a little bit of solitude. And be okay being bored. Let the creativity sweep over you. Let those, I could picture, I can imagine, I could see that scene you were describing, Larry. And I hope you hang on to that visual for the rest of your life, and like all the senses coming. What a beautiful thing. As hard as life can be sometimes, like you have that moment right there. How beautiful is that, right?
So cool, man. It just, I don't know. It's kind of reminds you of a simpler time, just when we didn't have those things. But you guys are doing great work in the world. I want to make sure that the guys can find out more information. I know for us, for our listeners, you guys can head on over to the dadedge.com/RO. That's ARO. For more information on how to get one of these bad boys. Like I'm telling you guys, it is well worth it. If you are, if you're one of those guys who's like, man, I just wish my kids would get off their screens, or I wish maybe as a family unit, we could come together in some way, shape, or form. I'm telling you, I've been using this thing for, as you guys are listening to it, 3 months, as we're recording 2 months. It's been a freaking game changer, man. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Well, we want these. We haven't talked about this. I want this community to thrive. I want to give a free month to everybody listening. I'll give you details. Make sure everybody gets it. It's an annual membership. We want your guys to have all have a free month to get in there. Let's remove all the friction. Let's remove all excuses. I want this group of guys to thrive. I want this group of guys to lead their families. So we'll get details to you, Larry, and get it. I assume you'll put it in the show notes and stuff. But we'll get all that to you.
Oh my gosh. I didn't expect that at all. This was not pre-planned. Joey and Heath, I really appreciate that. And I'm sure the guys do too. That's unreal. Gents, I'm sure we'll have that on the landing page for you. We're recording this like a month before it releases. So we'll have everything there for you, not to worry. Well, actually, I should ask you guys. So if they go to that landing page and they go to sign up and all that, are they going to get that free month?
Yeah, do that. And actually we'll set up a code. We'll just set up Dad Edge as a code you can use. And then we'll try to get it embedded too. When they go to the landing page, they can get that as well, but use Dad Edge at checkout, and email support if you have any issues with that. Support@goro.com. We'll get all that to you. It'll make it really easy for everyone.
And I'm guessing all one word, Dad Edge, all one
Yep.
word.
Dad Edge, all one word.
Yeah, guys. Wow. So thank you very much. So if you head on over to the dadedge.com/ARO, use the coupon code DadEdge, all one word. It sounds like these guys are going to be gracious enough and amazing enough to give us a free month. You guys will not be sorry. I can tell you that. So gentlemen, thank you so much. And by the way, if anybody wants to just follow you guys on your social channels and that kind of thing, what's the best social channel for you guys?
Yeah, at GoRO Now. So at GoRO Now. And then our web address is goro.com, but Instagram at GoRO Now.
At GoRO. Okay, we'll have that in the show notes for you guys. And then your website again is what?
GoRO.com.
GoRO.
Yeah, GOARO.com.
Okay. I'll tell you what, just for the ease though, if you guys, like I said, head on over to the dadedge.com/RO, we'll have a page set up for you. And then on the socials, we'll have that in the show notes as well. You guys can find everything we're talking about today if you head on over to the dadedge.com/Friday110. Again, the dadedge.com/110. Heath and Joey, you guys are doing kick-ass, amazing, awesome. And by the way, the less parents we can make weirdos, the better.
That's right.
Thanks, brother.
I love it. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate you, man.
You bet. Gentlemen, go out, live legendary. Take care.